So, do we walk back up the slide or what?
Oh, Flutterdry, may your hilarious presence be not long from our next viewing. Greetings and welcome, bronies and random YouTubers. Today's episode is Party Pooped, and wow, this one is kind of a mixed bag. On the one hoof, it's funny, and on another, it's a little bit jarring, but on another hoof, it's kind of deep. And on the last hoof, it's just silly. So now I've run out of hooves to stand on. Okay, so funny. It's a Pinkie Pie episode. It stars Pinkie. And when an episode does that, it's almost always funny. Or rather, Pinkie is almost always funny. There are only 2 times in this episode that the yaks are kind of funny to me, and one of those times is a deadpan reaction to Pinkie Pie, which any pony could do and it would fit. These guys are just so one note, almost all the way through to the end. I think that something, just anything, one little tiny thing should have gone right, just once. Mrs. Cake could have gotten the recipe right, or Spike should not have been using an auto-playing piano. We know that he can play piano already, or at least the last time he was playing, it wasn't shown that it was auto-playing. So, in summation, Pinkie Pie is funny, the yaks are kind of jarring. Not to mention that, as a continuation to my last review, and I apologize in advance to you headphone users, 1. These are the political ambassadors of Yakistan? What is with this world and having political representatives being completely horrible? Either dumb and immature or mentally unstable destructive sociopaths that use the smallest excuse to wage war and... oh. It's social commentary about bad political leaders in the real world. Well, that explains that. Doesn't mean I have to be happy about it. I mean, more and more, they seem to be breaking the illusion of this great, big, fantastical world that had so much potential. The land of Equestria and beyond is so full of magic, mythical creatures, and they're kind of trying to make it more like the real world in some ways, but they don't need to do that. And just once, I'd like to see a race of creature that has a society on par or even more advanced than Equestria. Wouldn't that be interesting? And 2. I thought we talked about this already, Cadence. You know, about responsibility and helping your friends. If north of the Crystal Empire is so freaking dangerous that no pony has ever returned, why the hey aren't you sending some escorts with Pinkie? And I would have written that off entirely if you just brought it up once and Pinkie declined for whatever Pinkie Pie reason. But no, you just, as far as you know, led her to her very likely, considering the track record of no pony ever returning, death. And I didn't even hear you offer any assistance from either yourself or those under your command. Furthermore, no pony has ever been to Yakistan before? Why? When Pinkie slides all the way back down to Ponyville, suspension of disbelief aside for how much time that would take, Cadence hadn't walked all that far back down the mountain. Seems like a pretty easy trip to me from the Crystal Empire, save for the dangerous snow beast in the way, but you have wings, you can fly over that. Why aren't you creating relations with Yakistan? They're basically your next door neighbors. Now, this episode does have a bit of depth to it, in that you get another look into the mind that is Pinkie Pie. You see that it's not just her random world-bending abilities behind what she does, but that she does in fact put a lot of time and effort into her parties. You get a glimpse at that kind of effort that she goes through to do what she does best, which is making others happy. Throwing parties to make a special occasion even more special, and knowing the ins and outs of everyone in order to make the best possible personalized things for them. If it wasn't borderline stalkerish, this would be really admirable. And in fact, because it's Pinkie, you know she gets a pass, and it is admirable for her. But that bit of depth aside, this episode is just silly in its core premise, and not the good sort of silly either. Twilight has invited the prince of another country to her castle in order to spread the magic of friendship, except that everything has to be perfect, or else the Yaks will declare war. What's more, there's a little hint in the episode near the beginning that Twilight is doing this unbeknownst to Celestia as sort of a surprise. Even successful, this looks bad on Twilight. Princess, without your counsel, I saw fit to attempt to make new allies with the Yak-Yakistanians. I risk starting a war, but it's okay because friendship. And at the very least, I hope that Celestia gave Twilight a stern talking to after this whole mess. This is horribly politically reckless. Tidbit and nitpick time. I thought it was really funny how Pinkie Pie just Phineas and Ferbed an afternoon adventure of stuff that would ordinarily take considerably longer than that, but it's Pinkie Pie, so completely within my suspension of disbelief. Also, I loved how the sheep on the tracks wasn't just a one-off joke. It wasn't really funny the first time, but the second time it was awesome because whereas they were working against Pinkie the first time, they were working for her the second. It's also funny that the Yaks tried smashing the snow, not in that the Yaks tried to smash the snow and that's funny, but just watch the scene without any context, mute it, just watch it, and it looks like they're playing and frolicking and simply having a wonderful Christmas time. And nitpicks. I don't really have much in the way of nitpicks. All of my major problems are already out there, but if I had to nitpick, it would be about, does any pony know geography at all? I mean, how do you head north from Ponyville and end up at Dodge? The guy on the train even says that the next stop was the Crystal Empire. Even if we accept that the train went south before turning north, the next stop was the Crystal Empire? I think you're skipping a few major stations you'd pass through on the way. And I'd let it go, but Pinkie should have known which direction the train should have been heading if it was going to the Crystal Empire from Ponyville. And the conductor even said that the next stop was the Crystal Empire. So, unless you're thinking with portals, this does not fly within my suspension of disbelief. I know it was made for a joke, but it doesn't really work as a joke because it doesn't make sense. A joke needs to still make sense. Pinkie could have gotten on the wrong train heading south, just absent-mindedly because she's too focused on other things, except that the guy said that the next stop was the Crystal Empire, and that ruins the joke. It completely makes the fact that they're in Dodge not make any sense whatsoever. And even for a Pinkie Pie episode, the joke still should have made some sense. In any case, Party Pooped gets a B from me. Yes, there are elements that I dislike, but the stuff that I did like, I really liked, and it brought the score back up from C material. Anyway, I hope to see y'all next time when I review Mending Fences. Mending Fences. Okay, so instead of fixing something, as the term mending fences typically means, we're going to have a change to something. Unless it's a typo. We'll just have to wait and see. One episode of viewing later. Nope! Should have been mending fences. Did no one spell check that? I mean, amending is an actual word, but just because you misspell a word and it's still a word doesn't mean it's the word that you intend. This title needs amending. I'll see you all next time when I review Amending Fences. Until then, remember to have fun and check your spelling. Bye! Yes! Finally had enough free time in one day to finish this one up. Though I'm not looking forward to the rendering time, but if you're hearing this, and that means everything went A-okay. The Christmas special will be in July, as no one commented against that idea, and hopefully it won't be too long before I can get my next review video out. I'm working now, but my ankles are still on the mend and going to be for a little while yet. Thank you all for the birthday wishes, those of you who gave them, and thank you all, regardless of who you are, for watching. That's all I got for now. Bye!